Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA. Let me just make sure I'm live right now. Make sure we got everything going.
Right now. Make
All
sure
right,
we got
we're
everything going.
all right. We're good. Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and this is gonna be my UFC 241. Hold up. All right. It's gonna be my UFC 241 picks, breakdown, and analysis. I'm gonna be talking about DC versus Stipe, the rematch. I'm gonna be talking about the return of Diaz and Pettis. It seems like everything's going well with that. I'm pumped for that, man. I feel like that was something that everyone's been sleeping on because, I mean, at least the marketing wise from the UFC, because they're like, oh, we don't know if it's going to happen or not. But, yo, it's fucking happening. Hopefully, fingers crossed, 2 days from now. Fucking, we got a whole bunch of other shit. I'm going to go over the card. But yeah, all right. So we're going to get right into this hoe, as the Black Beast will say. And all right, so I'm gonna start off at the top at DC. I'm gonna start off at the top at DC Stipe the rematch. All right, so what I first when I first for the first fight when I was thinking about what was gonna happen, I thought Stipe was pretty much what was gonna happen. What happened in the first round for the majority of it, I thought that's how the majority of the fight would go. Now my boy Jamari brought up to me the fact that the finger pokes and the eye pokes and the time and the moments that it happened, right? So in the first fight, we saw the finger poke where the eye poke where Stipe was like, "Oh, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna keep going." And then later, I didn't see this until my boy pointed it out. But right when DC goes in for the clinch and comes in with that hook that knocks out Stipe, he was fucking like he. And then I remember when they showed that finger, the eye poke, it was like DC coming out and he went like this and he like flicked his hand with his fingers out all the way to Stipe's eye, and it's like, bro, that's not a jab, my guy. That's a motherfucking eye poke. But anyway, and then we were he was telling me, yo, why it was after the day after the fight, he was telling me, yo, watch the fight back and watch when DC right before DC knocks out Stipe. So when I look right before they get in the clinch, he pokes him in the eye, and then like before there's anything the referee could do or anything, I don't even know if the referee saw it. DC knocks him out. Now, I'm not saying that that's the reason why DC won. I'm not blaming anything. I'm just saying that could or could not be a factor. But in this analysis and in this breakdown, I'm not going to use it as a factor because I just feel like I don't know. That'd be kind of like as much as I feel it. If I use it in like from an analyst standpoint, that'd be kind of like I don't know. Especially the way I feel like I don't know. I just feel like it might be a little haterish. But anyway, I was gonna go come off rip and say I think that Stipe is gonna win. I think that Stipe is gonna win this. I think Stipe is gonna get a finish. Now, this could go a couple of ways. Now, when it comes to Stipe might just be just pissed. And he just might be really upset about what happened and come back and get over emotional. And when you're over emotional, the effect of you see the effect from like Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw, right? From Cody Garbrandt and Dominic Cruz. So when you see the difference in that level of fighting and the intelligence and the utilization of fight IQ, and you really see how Cody really just fucked up. Like he really caused his own demise in a lot of ways because the traps that TJ was setting for him, he fell into it because of anger. That is something that can happen with Stipe. Now, he's been one for a long time, got emotional. They've been like talking shit about it back and forth. But the fact of the matter is, Stipe's got really clean, crisp boxing. DC's got really good boxing. I wouldn't say DC is as crisp and precise as Stipe's boxing, but I would say DC is really a lot of volume and very accurate for that volume. It's not like pitter patter volume. It's like accurate volume to like really push you back, which really helps him to push forward and get people up against the fence and grind. Now, I noticed in the first fight that Stipe appeared to have the strength advantage in the wrestling exchanges, in the grappling exchanges. when they're up against the fence, Stipe just seems so much stronger than him. And in the first parts of the fight, it seemed like Stipe was a lot bigger than him. But Stipe, I mean, DC started landing his stuff on Stipe, right? He started getting his shit off on him. And then started getting to a point where it started getting good. Both of them were getting shit off on each other. Really good shit. DC knocked him out. Now, is this going to be a continuation of that? Is this going to be the pickup from right before anything started coming, any eye pokes, any knockouts, anything? Right at that moment where they're both getting shit off on each other, is this fight where it's going to resume? And I think that's dependent on Stipe, because I feel like if you're DC, you're going to more or less be comfortable and not. And it was a really analytical way DC knocked him out. Like, in the interview like 2 days before the fight the first time, DC said, I think I'm going to knock him out when he's in the clinch and he's exiting the clinch. He keeps his hand low. DC pretty much said it spot on. So I'm not saying there's anything flukish about it. Now, there's certain tendencies that you may not be able to drill out of you. Now, pause. Now, the way that Stipe might be dropping his hand in the clinch, it's the same way Daniel likes to lean when he's standing. It is like Perry lead way. He likes always leaning this way, and then that's why he got head kicked by DC. Now, I mean, by John Jones. Now, that is something that is a tendency, and when you're in the heat of battle, it's going to be instinctual. And if that's a tendency, it's going to come out in instinctual situations. Now, if Stipe can capitalize on that, and Stipe's had a little more time to study some film from. I mean, I don't really think the Derek Lewis fight really has anything to do, and I think you're going to see a different DC than that. I feel like DC is going to be in the best shape we've seen him in a while, and best conditioning we've seen him in a while. I think that Scoopy snack. I think that that DC's going to land his shit off, but I feel like if Stipe stays clean and precise, he can be able to pick him up, be able to land his shots, and he's got that power to put him away. Now, something that my guy, Mr. S.A. Brown Loco, brought up to me a little bit ago when we were talking about it. He said Stipe kind of does get hurt at his fights, like in the Overeem fight and stuff like that, which is true, but like, so DC had a moment with Stipe and he capitalized on it. Is he going to be able to do it again and create that moment once again? Because I feel like if Stipe comes out like how he did in the beginning of the first fight and rectifies whatever was getting him caught and clipped and he's sharper, he should win it. Now, I haven't really thought about it in depth, but if I'm going to go in and talk about rounds and the ways, I feel like I'd say, give me a second. I'm thinking about it. I might just, I haven't really dwelled on it to think about it, but I think if I'm just going off of my feeling, I'm going to say second round. Don't take this with a grain of salt. I might adjust like it to a more specific pick later. I would say second round knockout from Stipe. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe even first round. I'm kind of expecting in the first round he's going to get it tit for tat right back. All right. So another way that fight can go is that DC can. They both felt each other out, and they both know they're both dangerous, and we might get a more tentative, technical chess match type fight that could go the distance. That's definitely something that we could see. Now, when you look at ways DC could win, I'm not sure if DC could kind of do the grind win that he gets on Rumble or like Vulcan or Derek Lewis. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to Stipe, because Stipe is a D1 wrestler. He appeared to be able to hold well more than his own in the first fight in the wrestling exchanges. As brief as it was, like, that's all I can base it off of, really. I feel like DC's not gonna be able to do it, so it's gonna be a standing fight. I would be surprised if you see Stipe utilize a takedown and maybe get a takedown on DC. Kind of throw that in there, throw him off. Stipe's got really good accurate ground and pound. I wouldn't be surprised about that. But all right, I gotta do something a little bit, so I'm gonna kind of run through these kind of quick. So now we got Nate Diaz versus Anthony Pettis. Now, this is a fucking fight, my guy. Like, bruh, I've been waiting on this. I've been fucking waiting on this. With Pettis coming up to welterweight, knocking out Wonder Boy, doing his thing. I watched that fight again recently. I actually watched DC Stipe again recently. But with that fight, man, with Nate, bro, with their styles, it's just gonna make a good fun fight. Now, Pettis. The thing was, when you look at the root, like the when you look at Pettis' last fight against Wonder Boy, it was kind of like the stiff, high Muay Thai traditional type fight from Pettis and Wonder Boy doing Wonder Boy, right? Because Pettis had to really kind of be able to walk him down when he wants to, have a high guard to not eat anything crazy, and be able to still get all his shit off and chop at the leg and do all that. Now, when you look at Pettis versus Ferguson, you saw Pettis be able to flow a lot more freely, a lot more creatively, and you had Ferguson, who's Ferguson, does Tony, right? Does the El Cucuy shit. When you got Nate, you're going to kind of see almost the opposite of the Pettis versus Wonder Boy fight in the sense that the roles are going to be reversed, where Pettis is more going to be kind of doing what Wonder Boy was doing, and Nate's going to be doing more or less of what Pettis was doing in the Wonder Boy fight, if that makes sense. So Pettis is going to be the one creative, elusive, doing a lot of shit, sticking to the basics, working with the hands, chopping at the leg, doing all that. But in those pockets, have those pockets and those bursts of creativity. So when he does that, there's a good chance he could catch Nate, because when you look at Nate's really only knockout losses against Josh Thompson due to a head kick, and it takes a lot to put Nate away. But to counter that, when you look at Pettis versus Holloway, although that was at 45, Holloway and Diaz are very similar stylistically, and Max Holloway is a volume pressure fighter, and Pettis breaks under that pressure. Poirier kind of broke Pettis under that type of pressure too. So Diaz, it really leans to Diaz that way, and it also kind of leans to Diaz in the favor of that Nate Diaz could really get kind of catch him on a counter in the same way Pettis caught Wonder Boy. So it could really be a flip situation where he gets put in that because of the way the fight's going to play out. Now, I haven't really let it marinate what I think it's going to happen, but when I look at the different ways the fight could play out, more probable than not, it's going to be a super fucking fun fight, bro. Like, it's going to be a good ass time. It's going to be a fan friendly fight. I don't see a way it's tentative. I really there is like if you get logistically into the stylistic matchups and the possible game plans and the executions that they're going to be doing with it, there is a way it could be tentative, but that's more on the less probable, not likely side of things. When you look at all the probable sides, everything just kind of paints itself to be a fucking bloodbath, drag out war, and it's gonna be one of those fight of the year type fights where someone has a chance of getting caught. You know what I mean? Like you never know. I feel like if I'm gonna make my official pick and prediction, I think I am going to pick fuck. Damn, dude, I labeled this shit picks in analysis, and I gotta think. Fuck me. I usually do my like picks like when it's closer to fight night and I'm feeling it, and I say D Pet. Pettis has that knockout power now at 70. It's another thing to take into consideration, but Nate's got a hell of a chin, but a good time and a good shot could put him out. I'm not putting too much weight in these picks and predictions because I just haven't had the time to do my thing with it. But if I'm just going out on a limb, just doing it on the spot, I'm going to say Diaz by TKO in the second or third round. That's what I'm going to go for. That's going to be my official pick. Now, let me look at this card, see what else we got on here. I saw that we had like a couple of good like shit, but I haven't really been paying attention to anything. Oh, Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. How could I forget about that shit? I feel like Yoel is gonna do well. Costa's gonna do good. I feel like it might be too much for Costa too soon. Just quick breakdown of the fight. It could go either way. They're both fucking built like Greek gods. Both got knockout power, but I feel like Yoel is more seasoned fighter, a more seasoned fighter, a higher fight IQ, and he's smarter. And I feel like that he is just that dude. You know what I mean? He always he's like really pulls it off, and he's very consistent with it. So I feel like it's too much for Costa. I don't even know if Costa was seasoned if he'd be able to handle Yoel. You know what I mean? Yoel at his prime, but Yoel is in his prime pretty much. But yeah, I'm going Yoel by knockout. I don't even know what round. Yeah, you had some other shit on there, but I don't really care about that. You know what I mean? I'll be watching it. It's fun. You got Derek Brunson versus Ian Heimlich, I think. That should be a cool fight too. That's gonna be a fun fight. Ian's like a new player in the middleweight division. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be busy on tomorrow and Saturday. I'm gonna be away from home, but I'm gonna be watching the fights. And if I can, I'm gonna hop on, do like on my phone, do a video and tell you guys what I think about it, and like just right after the fight, just like give my thoughts about it, whatever happens, all the fucking madness I'm sure is gonna ensue, and put up a video and just talk about it. So I'm most likely gonna do that, but that's not guaranteed because I might not get a chance to. But be on the lookout on that because I'm most likely gonna be able to, but we don't know. We'll see. All right, so yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in and watching this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you already know it's Mastermind MMA. I'll catch you guys later and enjoy the fucking fights because I'm pumped on this shit. All right, later, guys.